My daughter's voice still echoes in my mind. Get out, or I'll call the cops. She said it like I was some stranger who had wandered into her home and overstayed. But I wasn't a stranger. I was her mother. It all began on a golden Saturday in Santa Rosa. The sky looked like it had been painted with honey and sunshine. My daughter, Lauren, was throwing a backyard party. Nothing too fancy, just wine, laughter, and her usual crowd from work. Her husband, Eric, and some ladies from her gym, all buzzing around with sunglasses and smiles too white to be real. I stayed where I always stayed, in the kitchen. I had just pulled out a tray of warm shortbread cookies, my mother's old recipe, the one that melts on the tongue. I wiped my hands on my apron and stepped outside with the tray. The backyard smelt like lavender and sunscreen. Music played softly. People were laughing and sipping wine like they didn't have a care in the world. And there was Lauren, standing in the middle like the queen of some small kingdom. Her blonde bob bounced as she spoke. She wore a white dress with red flowers that matched her lipstick. When she saw me coming with the cookies, she laughed. "Look, guys," she said, loud enough for everyone to hear, "she just kinda stays here." Then she took a cookie off the tray and kept talking like I wasn't even there. No one said anything. Not Eric, not a soul. I smiled and nodded like I didn't hear it. But I did. I always do. When my husband Paul passed away, it was like the sun left my life. He and I bought our old Victorian fixer-upper in Oregon back in 1983. We painted the porch ourselves, planted rosemary and daisies, and argued over which way the fence should face. That house was ours. When Paul got sick, I cared for him day and night. After he was gone, I felt like a tree with no roots. Lauren said, "You shouldn't be alone, Mom. Come stay with us for a while. Rent out the house. It'll help." I thought living with her would bring us closer. Maybe we'd cook together, laugh again, maybe I'd help with the kids. But that while turned into months, and slowly it started to feel like I was fading into the wallpaper. The rules came like wind chimes in a storm. "No guests, Mom. It's too noisy." "No garlic. Eric doesn't like the smell." "No TV after 8. The walls are thin." "No using your big pots. They clutter the patio." Even my wooden spoon disappeared one day. She said it was old and ugly. I didn't argue. I thought maybe if I stayed quiet, she'd soften. Maybe she was just tired or stressed. But then she called me something to her friend over the phone. She's just emotional clutter. I was standing in the hallway folding towels when I heard it. Clutter. Like I was an old box in the attic nobody wanted to deal with. One morning, the house was quiet. Eric had gone golfing, the kids were at school. Lauren was out back on a work call. I was washing a glass when it slipped from my hands. It shattered into glittering pieces on the floor. Before I could grab the broom, Lauren stormed in. "What the hell, Mom? Do you know how dangerous this is? Are you trying to break your hip and sue us or something?" "I'm sorry," I said, bending down to pick up a piece. "Don't touch it. Just go to your room." Her voice was ice. I stood up slowly and looked at her. It was an accident, Lauren. She stepped closer and pointed to the door. "If you don't stop pushing me, I swear I'll call the police. You think you're untouchable because you're old?" I didn't say anything. I looked past her, out the window. The rosemary in the garden was blooming, tiny purple flowers, just like the ones Paul used to pick for my nightstand. That's when I knew. Lauren didn't see me as her mother anymore. I was a problem, a noise, a shadow in her house. I didn't cry. That night, I sat on the edge of the bed in the guest room, my room, and wrote in my journal. She thinks she has power over me. She thinks I'm weak because I'm quiet. But I remember everything. Every corner of the house Paul and I built. every payment, every nail. The deed tucked safely in a box with my name on it. She doesn't know. She thinks I'm just an old woman who can't fight back. She has no idea what's coming. Micah booked everything fast. Within 4 hours, I had a new ticket, first-class seat, and a private car waiting for me at Sangster International Airport in Montego Bay. I didn't tell anyone I was coming. As the plane took off, I leaned back in the soft seat and placed my fingers on the window, feeling the hum of the jet. The world looked dark to me, as always, but inside I was glowing with purpose, glowing with truth. I wasn't going to make a scene. I was going to make a point. When I landed, the warm air kissed my skin. I could hear the sea far off and the music of a local steel band playing somewhere nearby. A man with a calm voice said, "Miss Carter, this way, please." His name was Jerome, my personal driver. He opened the door, helped me in, and we drove off toward the resort. Now, let me tell you what happened on their side. Candace and Corey arrived earlier. They expected a welcome sign, a private driver, drinks waiting in the car, just like the itinerary I had emailed months ago. But instead, nothing. No driver, no car. They stood outside like confused tourists, dragging their suitcases through the heat. Corey tried calling the travel agency. Candace kept tapping on her phone, trying to use the prepaid card I had given them for food and fun. Declined. Card blocked. Everything under RVC Enterprises, frozen, canceled, gone. They made it to the villa somehow, probably begged a taxi driver to take them. But when they got there, the front desk said, "Sorry, there is no booking under your name. The reservation was canceled this morning by the owner." Candace tried shouting, Corey tried begging, but nothing worked. They had no keys, no access, no money. No one believed them when they said they were family of Ruth Vera Carter. Then, "Where is Miss Carter?" the front desk asked. That's when panic started. Corey called my phone 4 times, then Candace texted me, "Mom Ruth, please call back. Something is wrong with the resort system." I didn't reply. I was sitting on a shaded porch, sipping ginger ale from a glass, listening to the waves. My private suite overlooked the beach. There was a soft bed, fruit on the table, and sandals already by the door. Micah had even arranged soft violin music to play in the background. I could feel the peace in the air. I wasn't being mean. I was just giving them the gift of silence, the same silence they had given me in the airport. The same silence they gave me during family dinners when they spoke around me. The same silence they gave me when they took my money, took my time, and gave me no respect in return. The phone buzzed again. Voicemail from Corey. "Mom, we're stuck. We don't know what's going on. Please call me, okay? Candace is freaking out." I turned off the phone. Let them freak out. Let them sit in the hot sun and feel what it's like to be forgotten. As I sat there, I thought about the past, about how I used to sit in the cold with Corey as a baby, rocking him on my knee while snow fell outside our little flat, about the time I worked 2 jobs to send him to a better school, about how I cooked meals with the lights off to save power bills. I did it all with love. Then Candace came, and at first I was happy. She seemed polite, loving, but slowly something changed. She laughed at the way I dressed. She called my stories boring. She sighed loudly when I asked for help walking. She didn't want a second mother. She wanted me out of the picture. But I stayed quiet. I didn't want to cause trouble. I didn't want to come between my son and his wife. I thought, if I just keep loving them, they'll see me again. But they didn't. And I had finally accepted that. That night, I heard there was a scene at the resort's front gate. Candace was crying, shouting at the security.
Corey was on the phone trying to get help, but no one could fix it because everything was under my name and I had made sure no one but me could unlock it. Meanwhile, I sat in my suite eating grilled fish and listening to the ocean. A kind worker brought me pineapple juice and asked if I needed anything else. I smiled and said, "Just peace." I got it. I even danced a little on my balcony, my arms swaying gently to the reggae music playing in the distance. No one watching, no one judging, just me and freedom. I thought about the children, my grandbabies. I missed them. They were innocent.
3 days after Lauren received the letter, she came to my new apartment. I was sitting on my balcony with a cup of mint tea when I heard the buzzer ring. At first, I thought it might be the mailman or the neighbor's grandchild, but then I heard the voice. "Mom, it's me, it's Lauren." I didn't move. She buzzed again, then she knocked on the glass door. "Please open the door. I need to talk to you, just for a minute, please." I stood behind the curtain, hidden from view. She was still wearing the white floral dress from the party, only this time it was wrinkled and her hair looked like she hadn't slept. Her eyes were red. "Why are you doing this?" she cried. "Why would you sell the house?" I wanted to answer. I really did, but I didn't. Instead, I slowly reached for the curtain and drew it shut. I heard her gasp, then silence, then footsteps fading away. That day, I didn't feel victorious. I felt clean, like rain had washed away something sticky that clung to me for years. This wasn't revenge. I didn't sell the house to hurt her. I sold it to set myself free. I had let myself become invisible in her world, all while thinking that if I stayed quiet, I would be loved. I folded the towels, cooked the meals, tiptoed around her needs, and she still called me a burden, emotional clutter, like I was just something to be tossed in a box and shoved in the attic. But now I was the woman who remembered. I remembered that Paul and I built a life from nothing. We painted that house with our hands. We danced barefoot in that living room. We argued over wallpaper and laughed until we cried. I remembered who signed the deed. I remembered the smell of fresh rosemary. And I remembered I had a choice. So I chose me. Walter checks in every few days. He brought Rufus to visit. Rufus laid his head on my lap like he understood everything. Jessica, the realtor, sent a thank you note. Diane moved into the house and sent a picture of the front porch, painted fresh yellow with 2 rocking chairs. She said she planted rosemary, just like I had. I smiled at that. It's funny how you can give something away and still feel it with you. Lauren hasn't stopped calling. Eric sent a message saying she was going through a hard time. I'm sure she is. But I also went through a hard time for years. Only I didn't scream, I didn't throw things, I didn't threaten. I endured. Until I didn't. I joined a book club here in Portland. The ladies are sharp and funny. They wear cardigans and have strong opinions on tea. They invited me to join their garden walks. We laugh a lot, the kind of laughter that doesn't sting. There's a small church nearby where I light a candle for Paul every Sunday. I don't pray for miracles anymore. I just say thank you. Thank you for the strength to leave when staying would have erased me completely. If you're still reading or listening, wherever you are, I want to tell you something. If you've ever felt like background noise in your own family, if you've been told you're too old, too slow, too much, if you've wiped your eyes quietly in the bathroom so no one would see, you are not alone. You're not just a mom. You're not just a grandma. You're not clutter. You are history. You are wisdom. You are the one who stayed up at night when others slept. You are the one who made sure everyone had enough. And you deserve more than silence. Now, when I sip my tea on the balcony, I hum softly. The breeze touches my cheek like Paul once did. I close my eyes and smile, not because everything is perfect,
but because I finally feel like me again. I'm Evelyn Mae Collins, 74 years old, widow, mother, survivor. And no one will ever call me invisible again, not even my own daughter, because I remembered what I was owed, and I collected it.